Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, rather. I should have said good morning because I should really be here earlier today. But tourism being what it is, yes, the only certainty is uncertainty. And so that's what we'll have this morning. But I'm here trying to make sure that after this afternoon, that which would have been a little painful for you will not quite happen. We'll have full water supply in all of Montego. We had a big accident this morning that ruptured the main trunk line, which supplies all of us in this area. But we've managed to work through a bit of innovation here, and then we became
crisis management in effect.
We became a little nimble and adaptive and innovative. So we became really touristic, because that's what we are. So as we look at the future of tourism, I wanted to think through a bit of stats I got on where we are in terms of the tourism landscape, that we are now in the PC era, the post-COVID era, yes. And that is a redefining era for tourism. That the first period leading up to COVID 2019, we spent pretty close to 250 years trying to make 1.4 billion visitors move across the globe and spend in the process $9 trillion US dollars, providing 430 million jobs, representing 10% of global GDP and 11% of the total employment on planet Earth. And then we got into some of the stats in relation to trading services and to position tourism in terms of its GDP dependency in certain countries. We ended up with 25 countries of the world with the highest level of dependence on tourism, the Caribbean having 13 of those 25. And that we have the second most tourism-dependent economy on planet Earth. And there was a fight between, I think, Antigua and Barbuda and Aruba to see who would be the Maldives. The Maldives is number one. Jamaica was 13. Just to let you know, and 25. So what we're saying is that tourism up to then brought that level of prosperity to planet Earth. And it became what is known as the driving force of this new epoch, which is emerging within the Anthropocene, which is now being called Capitalocene. And that's the impact of capitalism on planet Earth since man. And capitalism has been the dominant economic force that has enabled wealth creation and distribution forever almost. Whether we had defined it so initially or not, and it became part of the philosophical thinking and writings in the time part of the system. But capitalism has always been the mode that has characterized man's search for great wealth. And so the most dominant element within the capitalist structure has been tourism. It's the only industry that has not changed fundamentally. Several other industries have come up and have disappeared. Technology has eviscerated many, new models have changed and so on. One industry that remained constant throughout the entire period has been tourism. And the thing about tourism, which is the most exciting, is one, its vulnerability, but more importantly, its resilience. And so that in every occasion when mega disruptions have hit the earth, and economies have had downsizing, right-sizing, capsizing, tourism has recovered stronger in every instance. And there's no different now with the most existential threat Anthropocene Earth has seen, COVID-19. Tourism now has emerged as that one economic activity that is bringing back full recovery in many places, economic prosperity in many other places. So, what of the future for this great industry? It is projected that in the next 25 to 50 years, 1.5 billion more tourists will be on planet Earth. New economies are emerging with great capacity for travel. The class growing larger and larger in many places. India is, in 5 years, projected to be either number 2 or number 3 world power, with 100 million middle class ready to fly all over. That the impact of some of the new economies emerging out of Eastern Europe is going to present opportunities and challenges for tourism. That 685 million people, and will move to close to 750 million, are living in South America with enormous potential again for travel. That China is going to continue to be an opportunity for travel. And that the Asian tigers are also going to be in. But Canada is projected to grow exponentially also. So what are we looking then for this 1.5 billion tourists to come from? Did we mention Africa? Absolutely. 1.3 billion people are on the African continent. And Africa now represents the new frontier for economic growth. So what I've done is to give you a global sketch of where those 1.5 billion new tourists are going to come from. The next question is, where will they be going? Will they be going back to the old, tried and proven metropolis, the great cities who have dominated tourism over the years? Paris, London, New York, Rome. Or will they be coming to the West Indies, to the Caribbean, to Jamaica? Yes. So how do we then prepare ourselves for this new tourist? So we have to start on the basis that 1.4 already exists. Now 1.5 is added. Do the math. Prepare yourselves for 3 billion tourists going across planet Earth. And think of the carrying capacity required to facilitate this and the level of development that is required in many areas. But while we do that, I close by saying, how do we think of supplying the demand that 3 billion new tourists will require from us? And I want you to spend, if you'll allow me, perhaps later on, to talk about the supply side.
Come back to the supply side.
Because that, I think, is the essence of where we need to think, particularly for us in the Caribbean. Supply side. Tourism